All right, so lately online I've been seeing a lot of tank builds, and I mean they're all pretty good, but I'm gonna put my stank on it, and this is gonna be my tank build. Now, there's three ways you can play with this build. You can play patiently, you can play fast pace, or you can play like a medium pace. Depends on which shield you want to use. To start off with, I'll show you the weapons I'm using. I'm using the Savage Wolverine. It's not quite God roll. I need to get a little bit more health on damage, and I want to change reload speed to critical hit damage or critical hit chance, whichever or. And it has the talent perfectly close and personal, which means killing a target within 7 meters grants 38% weapon damage for 10 seconds, which is great because the way I like to use the tank build is I like to be up close. I'm not going to be standing far firing with the rifle or anything like that. I'm going to be like in the NPC's face. Now, there's a lot of synergy with this build, and you'll see why when I get to the excuse me, to the gear pieces. I'm also using the Grudge. Now, I switched this SMG around because like this once again, this one is a god roll, right? But it doesn't have the talent that I like. It has perfectly vindictive, which means killing an enemy with a status effect applies grants you and all allies 20 meter within 20 meters, 18% critical hit chance and 18% critical hit damage for 20 seconds. Now, I'm not gonna be using any status effects, so for me, this one wouldn't be the best weapon to use. I'm only using it because it has the damage to armor. Now, the weapon I want to use, or the one I usually use, is this one right here. Now, it's nowhere near God roll, but it has the talent that I want, which is the close and personal. Now, if the critical hit chance SMG damage were maxed out, it would be perfect. But I need to find one. So that's what I'm going to equip. Once again, it has the close and personal talent. That's going to be very important. The handgun, I'm using the tactical M1911 replica. Now, this is also not a god roll. I do have one that's better, which is this one. But once again, it doesn't have close and personal. I want that close and personal talent because, like I said, I'm going to be all in the NPC's face. So I'm using this one for now. I mean, I can roll pistol damage to it if I have the god roll saved. Actually, I'm going to roll it off this one and put it on this one. That way I can do more damage. Do I have a better one? Yeah, so I'm going to use this one right here. Now, for the gear piece, I'm using the True Patriot. The main reason I'm using the True Patriot is because it has the red, white, and blue procs that, it gives to the enemies when you're shooting at them. The most important one, though, for me is the white one. And what that does is when the enemy is affected with the white stat, every time you shoot them, it repairs your armor by 5% every second. Now, that's very important because when you're in the NPC's face and, they're shooting back at you, mind you, so you don't have time to really use a med kit. So every time you're shooting at the enemy, you're getting your armor back. So even if your armor is low and your shield is still full, while you're shooting at the enemies, your armor is going back up. So that's the main reason that I love using the True Patriot. And not only that, but it also debuffs the enemy and buffs you. Because with the red proc, every 2 seconds enemies you shoot receive, with the red proc, it amplifies the enemy's damage taken by 8%. The blue one decreases the enemy's damage by 8%. So 3 things are happening. 1, you're getting your armor back. 2, you're increasing your damage output, and 3, you're decreasing the enemy's damage output, which is to me is great. Now I'm using of course the holster. Let me show you the mask first. The masks have armor on there, critical hit chance, and armor on kill. Armor on kill is also very important because every kill you do or you get armor back, and when you're face tanking these NPCs, you're gonna get hit. So as you're getting hit and you're getting kills, you're getting that armor back. So you're not always in danger. The holster I'm using is not a god roll either. I just rolled the critical hit chance in there. I wish I had more armor on there. That would be, it'll help my survivability a lot. But I mean, surviving is not an issue for me. The only time you'll notice that I'll die is if I make a boneheaded mistake, or if an enemy happens to get behind me or to the side of me. Now, playing a shield build, you have to keep all enemies in front of you at all times. So you kind of have to play in like a circular motion. You don't head straight in, you circle around everybody. That way, everyone's always in front of you at all times. If you see someone trying to sneak, you focus that person first. You kill that NPC so that way he'll stay in front of you. Because as soon as they get to your side or behind you and you have to try to shoot them, you're going to get killed by the other NPCs. Or if you focus on the NPCs in front of you, the ones behind you or to the side, you're going to kill you. The knee pads I'm using also has armor and crit hit chance. Gloves also armor and crit hit chance. Now, the best part about this build, in my opinion, is my backpack and my chest piece. Now, none of them are god rolls, but the main and most important part of this chest piece is the talent, Intimidate. While you have bonus armor, amplifies total weapon damage by 35% to enemies within 10 meters. Now, mind you, like I said, I'm going to be up close on the NPCs, so I'm always going to be within those 10 meters. And not only that, I'm getting 35% damage when I'm up close, plus with the perfectly close and personal, I'm getting another 38% weapon damage. So that's 38 plus 35, you do the math. I'm always going to have a good amount of damage, even though I'm a tank build. And the next part I'm using is the backpack, which has Bloodsucker on it. Now that's important because every single kill I get, I will get 10% bonus armor. Now this has perfect synergy with the chest piece. The Intimidate gives me the weapon damage when I have bonus armor. Bloodsucker gives me that bonus armor. So every time I get a kill, I'm getting a bonus armor, which procs Intimidate and also procs up close and personal. So I'm always doing damage. The skills I'm using, of course, is going to be the shield. Actually, I'll show you the hive first. I'm using the Artificer Hive only because it heals my shield periodically as, you know, I'm face tanking these enemies. So I don't place it down. I can just keep it on my shoulder. And as I'm fighting, it's healing my shield, healing my shield, healing my shield. So my shield is always going to be up. Now, if you play in hard mode, it'll be a lot easier. In challenging, you'll find that occasionally the enemies will pop your shield, but it doesn't pop all the shields. Now, let's get to the shield, right? There's 3 types, like I said before, right? There is this one right here, which is the Bulwark Ballistic Shield, which has 13 million armor, 13 million health, excuse me. Now, this shield works for everything. This is the one that you want to play patiently with. You can't really, I mean, you can rush the enemy if you want to, but mind you're using a handgun, so it's going to take some time to kill them because you can't equip the assault rifle or an SMG with this one. So you have to actually stay back, play patiently, and, you know, have good positioning to take out the enemy. Now, the second one is the Crusader Ballistic Shield. This one allows you to use SMG and assault rifle, but it has a lot less health. 4.6 million health it has. So you can still face tank because the Artificer mod will keep this shield up, but when you have too many things focus firing you, this shield will pop. And once that does, you just have to make sure you're close to a place that has cover, so that that way you can, you know, jump to cover real quick, let the shield, you know, regenerate, and then boom, shield comes back, you pop it back up, you get out of cover. It's all about positioning. Now, my favorite one, once again, this is the Patience one. This one is fast pace. This one is medium pace. This one is my favorite one only because a lot of the times the NPCs will kill themselves because this shield deflects bullets. And what I noticed between these two shields, yes, it has maybe like 3 million more health, but this shield gets broken a lot less than this one. And I'm assuming only because it's deflecting the bullets, not just absorbing them. So from with the gameplay that you'll see, you'll notice that this shield is pretty much always kind of at full. It's never really halfway, or it's never really dying, or it's never like it never really pops. This one, on the other hand, it gets down to the red. If I don't kill all the enemies fast enough, it will pop. And then I have to get in cover and wait for it to come back. But this one, on the other hand, it's like a double-edged sword, right? You take damage using this shield, right? But at the same time, you're outputting damage as well, even while you're reloading. Because what happens is, a lot of the times, from what I've noticed from my gameplay, is I'm shooting the enemies and I have to reload, and while I'm reloading, they're shooting at me. And all you have to do is pretty much set whoever you want to aim the deflection back at you, and you'll see that as they're shooting at your shield, it'll deflect to that specific enemy, and that enemy will die while you're reloading. Or if you're shooting at that enemy and they're shooting back at you, the bullets they're shooting at you will reflect back to them while you're shooting at them. So they're getting double the damage. Your shots and their shots are firing right back at them, which is great. But like I said, the downside is your head is exposed and your legs is exposed. So if you have too many things shooting at you all at the same time and you're not really good with your positioning, chances are you will die. Now, one of the things I've learned using this shield is you can't use the deflector shield if you're far from the opponent. Because what happens is, if they're spraying the bullets, it's going to hit you every which way. But if you're up close, most of their shots will hit the shield itself, not your head, not your legs. If you're playing a player, in PvP, then yes, if they're good enough and they're smart enough and they aim for the headshots, you're going down, because your head is not protected. But for the most part, against NPCs, from what I've seen, is they're not smart enough to just aim for your head. So most of the times they're shooting the shield anyway, and you'll see it gets deflected right back to them. Like I said, this one is my favorite one to use, only because I guess it's just fun to me. I'm like all in the NPC's face, they're shooting at me, and then they're killing themselves with their own bullets. And like I said, everything in this build is pretty much synergy. You kill enemy, you get bonus armor. Bonus armor gives you bonus damage to kill even more enemies. And it just loops all around the circles. Now, I'm going to actually start with this shield. I'll show you 3 different gameplays with each shield, so you can see how each of them works. Now, you'll notice, like I said, the only time I will die is if an enemy gets behind me, or to my right or to my left, or if I make a boneheaded mistake. Other than that, I can run through these enemies no problem. And I'm playing on challenging. Now, I want to try it on heroic. It does work somewhat on heroic, but the amount of damage they do to you, your shield is a lot more vulnerable. Like, it'll pop even faster. So I want to wait till I perfect everything. God roll chest piece, God roll mask, gloves, everything. So that way I can have even more armor and better critical hit chance and critical hit damage. Now, my stats, if you want to take a look, like I said, my critical hit damage is relatively low. I wish I can get that higher. So with my assault rifle, the Savage Wolverine, my weapon damage is 57k, PvP is 39k, the critical hit chance is 35%, and critical hit damage is 35%. Headshot is 55, which is not bad. But I mainly use the assault rifle. The SMG, which gives me 58.4% critical hit chance and 35% critical hit damage, 50% headshot damage. Now, that critical hit chance comes in handy because it shoots and kills things relatively fast. And also with the handgun, I have 45% critical hit chance and 39% critical hit damage, but 100% headshot damage, which is very important. Now, I'm not the best at aiming. A lot of times you'll notice that instead of trying to shoot at the head, I'm shooting at the chest. It's just a bad habit. At times where I really want to really want to kill the enemy, I'll stop and I'll think about it or focus at the head. But most of my shots land on the chest, and that's just me being lazy, I guess.